Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, and to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the I Am is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and the whole as that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil, and cast in thy lot among us, and let us have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to do evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they that lay wait for their own blood, they lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Proverbs chapter 1, verses 1 through 19. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We thank God for you and you. We give God the glory and the praise. We thank God for his mercy. We thank God for his praise, that it gives us confidence in him who can do all things and accomplish all things. He don't do it the way we want to do it in the time that we want to do it, but God will do it if we do that which we supposed to do, even his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws. That shows our confidence in the Most High. All praises to his name. Yes. Yes, we're in the book of Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles, as you prepare, chapter 30. Chapter 30. Yes, Second Chronicles, chapter 30. We give God the glory and the praise for that also. You know, these days and times sometimes we're in our little secure places. Our secure places, which we have, and we think nothing can affect us, or it shouldn't happen to us. Why shouldn't it happen to you? It have happened to thousands, even millions. But then those who have oppressed you, your ancestors, when the oppression goes back on them, don't feel bad for them. Neither be glad nor happy for them. For it is the vengeance of the Most High toward them. It's coming to pass. They're not going to be able to take it. It's going to hit them hard. Do not be neither happy nor sad. Don't weep or mourn for them, for it is the retribution of the Most High toward those who have utterly destroyed the children of Jacob, just about, and those of Shem, and those of all the children of Ham and the Japheth. These things have occurred. You just don't see it. Many of us have been so confused with history and things that people come up with. These things have been put there, and they've been infiltrated through the enemy. They've been there to confuse you. He brings up everything, and there's things that even back in that time they could have hid. Just a lie they could have hid in the ground so they could find it in this day and time, so that you might be confused. These things are so because of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Yes, they are so. Now, also, we thank God for those of you who've been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us there in bouts. And we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed, as well as those of you who are thinking about subscribing. And also, we thank God for those of you who are just viewing. We welcome you and we thank God for you. And I hope in all my being that this strikes a chord, that it might stir up your mind to think about what's going on in this world and how things are here to manipulate you, and how that even your God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has pushed you away from him. But yet, although his wrath is there, his hand is stretched out still. He still leaves crumbs. And this is why we have the confusion of the books and the Bible, and these, heathen have translated them, and there's still truth there. And that truth is in his laws, commandments, ordinances, and commandments. Yes. Now, in the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, we read about first that Hezekiah had took over his father Ahaz, and now he's restored the temple that Solomon, his father, built, and now he has instructed the Levites to carry on the services that would minister to the Most High, even the ministering that they do when the children of Israel give their offering unto the Most High. They give it through the Levites, to the Levites, to offer unto the Most High. So you only can go by so much. You just can't have anybody sacrificing anything. These people, this tribe of people, they sanctified themselves. They continually sanctified, set themselves apart. They continually kept clean and kept their minds clean before the Most High. Yes, they have. Whereas the average Joe, average Israelite did not do as they were mandated to do. And for this cause, they were able to approach unto the holies of holies. And then those that had jobs that were outside the holies of holies were able to do that, and that they even took the sacrifices and put them without the camp to burn them and everything. These things were holy. Even the sacrifices that they had burnt up without the camp were holy. Yes. I'm talking about the liver and all these other things, all that stuff, the refuse that God said, no, I don't want you putting this on the fire, but I want you to burn it without the camp. These things, they were holy also because the temple is holy at that time. Hallelujah. So that's why I say you cannot call yourself a preacher or a pastor or whatever collecting tithes and offering. That's not for you. That wasn't, you trying to do the law, and the law is not for you. I don't care what your Paul says. He never existed anyway in my book and what I know. But the fact is that I don't care what they say. You cannot, the church, or what they call a church, cannot replace the children of Jacob. They tried it. They also tried this with the pagan religions of, should I say, Egypt. This is whereby they have concocted all their pagan gods, their Roman gods and Greek gods. They have gotten these things from Egypt, but that didn't work with the people. People still fornicated, they lied, they lay with their mothers and sisters and brothers and uncles and everything else, and they did all these things before the Most High. But then they found, Christianity, we got a lot of control because we can get this so they can turn the other cheek. We can just do it in a way that we can manipulate these people to be more docile. Because the children of Judah was not docile in no shape or form. They was not that way. If you slap them, they will slap you back. If you delete one of their family, they will delete one of your family. If you make war with them, they will make war with you to the last man, to the last woman, to the last child. They will fight. Not like today. You have been given a heart of cowardice. We all have been doing that. To think that just because we see a weapon of mass destruction or a weapon of many men and many men trained in weaponry and fighting, that we can't go against these people. We can't do what we're supposed to do. But that's a lie. If you read the book of Jubilees and the book of Jasher, you will see, even the books in the books of Moses, where God have empowered his people to go against these people, giants and, tall, mighty men of valor. Your cowardice has been given to you through what? Your disobedience. You've given a fearful and a timid heart. Oh, I ain't timid. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. We've been given a timid heart to the point where we are afraid because of what we see instead of what we know, and we have prayed and God has told us. Been given a timid heart for what will come against us. Yes. But God is not one that's going to tell you arbitrarily just to go against all of your enemies. Those things that come against him, God is fighting for himself through you. This is what God does. They come against God. They dishonor their maker, who is your God. For this reason, God has turned them over to other beings, other demons, your Jesus, your Yahushais, and all these other things. God has turned them, your Muhammad's or whatever, because they forsook the law of their fathers, even that which Noah had taught all his sons, and their son taught their sons. But somewhere down the line it ceased, and God picked out a man that he could find himself strong in, and that was Abram. Yes. Now, let us begin. Verse 1. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah, and wrote letters also to Ephraim and Manasseh, and that they should come to the house of the I Am at Jerusalem, to keep the Passover unto the I Am God of Israel. Now you have to remember that other tribes of Israel were taken into Babylon. They were up in the northern parts, on the other side of the Euphrates. Some were still in the northern parts, but they were serving the Syrians. This God had given their land unto them. Yes, he did. Now, verse 2. For the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd month. See, the Passover was in the 2nd month, okay? And all the congregation to keep, and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd. In other words, we have to remember where we have come from. This is what the Passover is about. Remembering where you come from. You probably can't hold, lambs in the U.S. is about nil to none. That with goats and bullocks and all of that, even in Europe. Now, you go into the continent of Africa, you can find these things easily. And even in the Middle East, you can find these things easily. But the fact is that they, mostly in these countries, they eat pigs. They eat chickens. They eat shrimp and all these other scavengers, things that God warned us not to eat. But to them, they can eat this. But for those of you who have deemed yourself a child of Jacob, God says, no, you are under the covenant of your fathers, or so have you deemed. And they said, all that the I Am said, that will we do. That is the covenant. And this is what we must remember, as we shall see as we get into the parts where they were in captivity and came out of captivity and rebuilt the temple, and they started seeing these things and they wept. We will see these things. There was Zerubbabel, we had all kind of people, yes. But anyway, now the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd month, for they could not have kept it at that time because the priests had not sanctified. In other words, they picked another day. They said, okay, we're going to take that 2nd month, that 7th month, we're going to have our feast of unleavened bread and all that, and we're going to do it because the priests are not together. See, this is one thing about the Passover. You see this, they were in the land. They had the sanctuary in the temple that God had put his name in. But the fact is, they could not keep the Passover because the priest was not yet sanctified. They were not set apart. They were not cleansed for the service of the Most High. And neither had the people gathered themselves together to Jerusalem. So this thing after his father Ahaz had just made a wreck of everything and just sold everything, and they had to get the temple back together. So they had to do this. Instead of the first month, they had to do it the second month of that year. And the thing pleased the king and all the congregation. So they established a decree to make a proclamation throughout all Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, that they should come to keep the Passover unto the I Am, God of Israel, or God of Jacob, at Jerusalem. For they had not done it of it a long time and sort as it was written. So when sin is in the land or in captivity, it's going to be hard to keep the Passover the way it should be kept. This is a government. And everything they're doing now is unto their king, which is the Almighty, the Creator, the Spirit that moves upon the water. That's who it is. This is his government. He has a mirror government, which is in his realm. Some of you call it heaven. Because you cannot approach God in the flesh. And then some spirits that have walked contrary to the things of God, they still walk contrary and they are cast out. See, this is the main thing, his laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances. So those parts about the laws, how you should treat your brethren, those that are of like confidence in the Most High. In other words, the children of Jacob. As they were presented, don't judge them. Just, hey, you one of the children of Jacob? Yes. Period. That's good. He might be African. He might be South American. He might be in the U.S. He might be a U.S. citizen. He might be over there in, should I say, Argentina, or way over in Egypt somewhere, or Ethiopia. It doesn't matter. If he's keeping the statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High without the Isus, that is paganism. Then you should render unto him as your brother. The rest of them are heathen because they chose paganism. They have chosen paganism, truly. Now, let's continue. In verse 3, for they could not keep it. Okay, in verse 4, and the thing pleased the king and all the congregation. So they established a decree to make proclamation throughout all Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, that they should come and keep the Passover unto the I Am God of Israel at Yasharal of Jerusalem, for they had not done of it for a long time in such short as it was written. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the I Am God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remnant of you that are escaped out of the hands of the kings of Assyria. Okay? See what he's saying? To return to God, and he's going to turn to you. See, they stole that same phrase out of what? This, and put it into the New Testament. You turn to God, and God will turn to you. This is what he's saying. He will turn to the remnant of you. He's talking to your governor, your king, your almighty, the all-powerful will turn unto you. And be not like as your fathers, we're in verse 7. And like your brethren, which trespass against the I Am God of their fathers, who therefore gave them up to desolation, as ye see. Oh, God is rough. He's tough. Oh, he's mean. Yeah, he mean. He mean toward you. He's mean. Yes. Because you're mean at him. You're hostile. Talk about him like a dog and throw him behind your back. And for what? Nothing. A piece of wood. A piece of stone. Nothing. A piece of love for a few minutes. When you could just have a wife and love her all the time. Or your wives, you can love them as you will. And as they can provide. But no, you want to go get that stolen waters are sweet. This is what Solomon says. Stolen waters are sweet. It tastes good. You're sneaking. Everybody, you see, the world loves the sneaking. Oh, and then you can brag about, oh man, I got that. Yeah, But yet, it's just a memory. Whereas you can look at a wife or your wives as I got that, and I can go back again and get it. It's there forever until she's gone. Yes. See, this is how foolish you are, man. This is the one, you are the one he warns. Yes. Now these women gonna be who they are. God got a thing for them too. Now so the post went with the letters from the king and his king. This is post or letters or whatever, the postman. That's just English. That's what they're saying, how they delivered. This is the way they say mail and back in those days, as far as the old English. Okay? Now, from the king and his princes toward all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, children of Israel, turn again unto the I am, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he will return to the remnant of you that are escaped out of the hand of the kings of Assyria. Verse 7, be not like your fathers and like your brethren, which trespass against the I am of their fathers, who therefore gave them up to desolation. And this is how the land spewed you, O child of Jacob, child of Israel, out of the land. Even that land they call Telad, Bethlehem, all that is in the same area. Even the tomb of kings is there. You can put your hands on it, but they can't put their hands on it in the parts near the Euphrates, where they call Jerusalem. They can't put their hands on that. And those who say it's in Africa and the United States, they can't put their hands on nothing. Where can they find the tombs? Where are they going to find anything? But yet they go by the book and there's nothing there. If you follow the book the way they interpret it or they understand it, you will not find Jerusalem. You will not find none. You just be a lost dog in high wheat. Yes, you would. And be not ye like your fathers, okay? Verse 8, and be not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but build you yourself unto the I am, and enter into his sanctuary, which he has sanctified forever, and serve the I am your God, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. We have our own wrath. We can be mad at a person, but yet we can look for them to stretch our hands, stretch out and say, you know you did this to me. This is the way God is. I'm angry at you. If you keep on, I'm going to delete you. Verse 10, so the post passed from the city to city through the country of Ephraim and Manasseh, even unto Zebulun, as they laughed them to scorn and mocked them. You see, these people don't even, this is what you do today, Jacob. This is what you do today, so-called, those of you who deem yourself as Israel. You do the same thing today, just as the heathen. Where's your God? God is not talking to the world here. They say he's talking to the world in the New Testament. No. If you are in the world, you come to Jerusalem. You come to the children of Jacob that are following this thing. Because you're going to have to come through the city one day when it's built. So now, he says now, they laughed him to scorn. What God? Who God? What? Man, they got their other gods, the B gods and all that other stuff. They got all the M God and all them. Yeah, nevertheless, the divers of Asher and Manasseh and Zebulun, I'm in verse 11, humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. Wow. Things have been going bad, man, because we've been doing things wrong. We worship these other gods and they ain't doing nothing for us. We like our little crystals. Some of you call yourself Israelites and you deal with in the occulted things, your crystals. Some nut and calls you to think that crystals is the power. It's through tangible objects. No. Stone, things God created. No, the blessing is in him, who is the spirit that moved the one toward the waters, upon the waters. Yes. He says, now in Judah, the hand of God was to give them one heart, to do the commandment of the king and of the princes by the word of the I am. And there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread. That was after that Sabbath. And in the second month, a very great congregation. In other words, we keep it out there. Yes, we're going to remember what God did back in Jerusalem. That way, if we remember that, we know to remember that we should be obeying these laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances that he had put forth, that we might remain in this land. Yes, it was a religion. It was government and religion together. God was the government. The commandment was the government. And the people. Yes, if you want to call it that, yes. But it was not a religion. This is what the religions want you to think. This was a government, spiritual, and yet finite. And then one day God will merge the two. The angels follow the same thing. Read the book of Jasher, the book of Jubilees. They follow the same thing in heaven as they do here on earth. But they do not have the like desires as those here on earth. And they rose and took away the altars that were in Jerusalem, and all the altars for incense took they away and cast them in the brook Kidron. These were incense and altars unto demons. And they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the second month. See, they had to skip a month. And the priests and the Levites were ashamed and sanctified themselves and brought in the burnt offerings into the house of the I Am. And they stood in their place after the manner according to the law of Moses, the man of God. He was not the Messiah. He was a Christ. He was anointed. Yes. There are many Christs in the land even today. They're not antichrist. No, they're Christ. He just set you up, man. In that New Testament, they set you up. The wrath of the Most High set you up. The jealousy of the Most High, because you're worshiping a man. You're worshiping idols and devils and demons and dogs and everything else. The wrath and the jealousy of the Most High set you up through the New Testament, through this Islamic book, and it's setting you up through other means too, in all their denominations. But this is what God would have us to do. Now, they came out from among the heathen and been separate, if you want to put it that way. Yes, they have. And after the manner according to the law of Moses, the man of God, the priests sprinkled the blood which they have received of the hands of the Levites. For there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore the Levites had charge of the killing of the Passover, for everyone was not clean to sanctify them unto the I Am. They were sprinkling blood, cleansing, sanctifying people. For the multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim and Manasseh, Issachar, Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves, yet did they eat the Passover. Otherwise it was written by Hezekiah. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, the good I Am, pardon every one. In other words, they wanted their God. They wanted him. They wanted, so they forgot. They didn't know. They just wanted God. They just wanted God to come in there and do his thing, to bless them, to sanctify them, to cleanse them, to cause his glory and his anointing to come upon them so that they could be at peace. Yes, with their God, their government. Same thing with your government. You transgress against your government, you have to go pay a fine. Some of you have to go to jail. And some of you are pardoned. Those are the gods of the land. There are spirits that rule them too. You notice how even in the land that some lands you are in, they are so biased that the color of your skin is an abomination unto them. Your status as a poor man or a poor woman is an abomination unto them. Maybe you fat or skinny or whatever. It's an abomination. You might have freckles. That's an abomination unto him. This is the ways of men. But God, he has one law for everybody. It has no bias. The only bias there is that which is in men given by demons who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts. Now, Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, he said, pardon everyone that prepareth his heart to seek God, the I Am God of his fathers, though he be not cleansed according to the purification of the sanctuary. These people just coming out gross sin. They're coming out the sin of Ahaz. And the I Am hearkened to it. See, he's merciful. Look how merciful God is. And God hearkened unto Hezekiah and healed the people. And the children of Israel were present at Jerusalem to keep the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the I Am day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the I Am. This was the way of Jacob, the way of Israel. Yes. You wasn't singing like no heathen of and all this. No. If you want to know how they sung, you go back to one of them old African tribes that say, hey, God is good. And they might say, I'm just speaking him. And then they might go, hey. Or his mercy endure forever, forever. Or something like that. Now, we're still with 2 Chronicles chapter 30. It says, now, we left off with verse 20. And the I am hearkened unto Hezekiah and healed the people. And the children of Israel were present at Jerusalem, kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. See, this is the whole thing. And the Levites and the priests praised the I am day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the I am. Oh, they're making too much noise. But no, you're supposed to like, oh. No, these people were getting down. They had every percussion, every harp, everything they could have before the Most High, being glad that God had spared them the things that they had suffered. Yes, in verse 22, and Hezekiah spake comfortably unto all Levites that taught the good knowledge of the I am. And they did eat the good knowledge of the I am. They had that taught the good knowledge. People have to be taught. Not no New Testament. That doesn't give you the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. But yet, the law, the books of Moses. The Quran doesn't give you all those things. Neither does the disciplines of the Egyptians give you all those things. But what? The commandments, statutes, and ordinances as given by Moses in the 4 books. Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Those 4 books, yes. He says, now, they did eat throughout the feast peace offerings and making confessions unto the I am God of their fathers. In other words, it was revival. Revival. See, you church folk, y'all think y'all have revival. You don't do no but slam into the wall. This is a revival back to righteousness. A revival back to serving and praising and understanding God and knowing God, not trying to figure him out like the world tried to do. This is why you come up with so many heathenistic religions and all type of philosophies and crystals and all kind of garbage. And then try to add it with God. God will get back with you. Those who doing it, and if you have viewed, you know who I'm talking to. I don't care how much you call yourself an Israelite. Now, and the whole assembly took counsel to keep the other 7 days, and they did keep other 7 days with gladness. For Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give to the congregation 1,000 bullocks, 7,000 sheep, and the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep, and a great number of priests sanctified themselves. And all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites and all the congregation that came out of Israel and the strangers that came out of the land of Israel that dwelt in Jerusalem rejoiced. Excuse me. So there was great joy in Jerusalem, or Yasharal, as some of us will call it. For since the time of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, there was not light in Jerusalem. Remember? They were just sacrificing day and night and day, giving God the glory, giving God the praise, just calling it on, oh, glory, 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 just giving God all the praise, saying, oh, just clapping their hands and giving God glory, glory, glory. And the songs and the psalteries and harps and bongos, gongos, whatever you had, it was just praising God on it all. And if we do those things that are right before the Most High, we will have peace.
Walk with me.